Congratulations, Roblox. You couldn't make the community more disappointed in you. What is up, guys? What is up? So, I saw that Creek tweeted this, and I feel like I just had to make a video on this. Guys, I think Roblox just called us out. And this guy called PixelPug replies, dude, that's such a dude, what? That's such a slap in the face. And Creek says it does kind of feel that way. And I agree with this completely. It is a huge slap in the face. Roblox pretty much said under their hundreds of experiences. Now, this isn't in the game description. So I don't know specifically where this is. It's probably on some sort of like thing in maybe an article they posted, or maybe it's in the actual like event description when you click on it or something. But they pretty much said expecting a single world egg hunt. Think again. Hundreds of experiences participated to make it the largest in Roblox history. And yeah, sure, it's the largest, but it's also the most disappointing event. Just regarding like expectations and things like that, or the haunt, one of the two. Both of those were disappointing expectations wise, but this event is probably more disappointing expectations wise for me. Um, but yeah. So this video, what I kind of mainly wanted to do, I hope y'all are having a good day. Um, I wanted to mainly kind of discuss my thoughts on the hatch after I kind of just go over a few things that, were kind of revealed about it. So I'm going to be doing that in this video. So before we get into it, make sure to hit that like button. Let's do this thing. So yeah, so I already read this aloud, but pretty much Roblox kind of gave the community a huge slap in the face. And this just proves that Roblox knew what we wanted, and they just didn't do it. They just didn't bother with it. So literally, I feel like Roblox isn't even really miscommunicating with the community. I mean, I feel like they have been communicating with the community. I mean, they've released trailers and things. Like they've released a few things. So I mean, they definitely know that the Roblox community is there. But like, it's disappointing because they knew what the Roblox community wanted, and instead they literally did the opposite. Like, it's not even out of miscommunication anymore. It's out of ignorance. And the fact that Roblox was ignorant of the community in this case is it's just disappointing. Like, they could have made the hatch event so much better if they just listened to the community and made it a single world egg hunt. Like, so much more people would have liked it. And I mean, maybe they're trying to appeal to the younger audience, maybe that's why they decided to do this and have like 1,000 games. But like, they're not even appealing to their audiences really. I mean, they kind of are, right? I mean, people are still playing it. Like, I think the event itself still has what, like 57,000 players roughly at the moment. Let me actually refresh it. It might have more, it might have less, but I mean, it still has about 57,000 players, which isn't too bad, I suppose, but still though, I mean, they could have had much more if they like listened to the community. And like, it could have been the most popular Roblox event in history. Maybe it wouldn't be the most popular Roblox game, but it would have had maybe like 100, 200K players if they just decided to focus on a single world egg hunt where you collect eggs instead of, the annoying structure, the annoying redundant structure that they decided to make this hatch event. But other than that, this happened just 2 hours into the event. The hatch is now the lowest rated recent Roblox event. And I'll admit, like, I said that the haunt should be lower. And honestly, I think it should. I still think that the haunt is probably the worst Roblox event in history. Like, the games event wasn't bad. Like, that was a cool event to a degree. The Haunt Mega Edition, that was a very good event. The haunts, it was just terrible though. Like the idea for the haunt, the structure for the haunt, like there was no unique developer creativity at all in the event. Like there were no game quests or anything like that. The hatch, it has that a little bit. So I mean, I feel like I got to give it credit where credit is due. There's some games that took a unique turn, but at the same time though, there's other games in the event that are just like, it's just too easy, and it eventually gets redundant and repetitive. So I really don't think it's the worst event, because like to me, I feel like it's still a playable, okay event. but it's definitely not the best event at all by any means. But I mean, yeah, the game itself currently, it went from a 40% rating in 2 hours to now a 29% rating in like less than a day. Like by the time I'm filming this, it's almost 24 hours since the event has been out, and literally it has a 29% rating. That is nuts. That is nuts. And just to put that in comparison, the Haunt has a 65% rating. Like, literally, the Haunt is a little over double what the Hatch has. That is insane. That is freaking insane. I have no clue why this is here. But yeah, it's just insane. Like the amount of hate that has gone into the Hatch even before the event has started, and now during the event, when people realize like it's just a sucky event for the most part. Like it's oh, it's just sad. It's just sad, like this was hyped up so much. Like there were so many trailers. Roblox was hyping it up so much, and now it's just completely crashed down on them, and they've been ratioed so hard. Like like look at that. 42K to 100K literally ratioed. Like it's just crazy. It's just crazy. Um and then if you compare it to the Haunt, like the Haunt, like people liked it more than disliked it. The Hatch, like dang. Like this is probably like like I said, this is probably the second worst event that Roblox has done, and this is outside of sponsored events. This isn't even counting the sponsored events really, unless if you count like Lil Nas X, unless if you count the concerts as sponsored events, but I don't really count them as sponsored events. Like this is outside of sponsored events. It's the second worst event overall that Roblox has done, is the Hatch, and frankly, it's just disappointing. Oh, and then just to put that in even better perspective, you have the Hunt Mega Edition with an 81% rating. Like, I feel like out of everything, like Roblox should have just followed a similar structure to the Hunt Mega Edition. Like, I mean, that's what worked, Like, why change it? Why change it? I mean, I understand they want some variety, but, like, you should have just kept it the same structure as the Hunt Mega Edition at, like, the very minimum, right? But instead, nope. We're changing everything. We're changing everything, and we're going to make the amount of games worse. And it's just sad. But let me express my thoughts on this. Because I'm not fully disappointed. Okay, I'm not fully disappointed. So after playing the event yesterday, I've joined a few games, and some of the games, for the most part, it was pretty boring. Literally it was just track down the egg, grab the egg, and then it's like, yeah, you earned the egg, and then you have to return to the event. And then what I found out is that I don't even know if it was saving all my eggs, because like, I don't even know if it was saving all my eggs. I assume it was, but it seemed like I was getting multiple of the same egg, and it wasn't, like, counting it for that, like, 100 eggs completionist thing. Maybe I'm wrong about that. That's just what it looked like to me, because I feel like I did way more games than, the amount of games I did. But that also could have been because I kind of quit a few games after, like, I didn't find the egg. But, that's just how boring it was. Like, I never really do that for a Roblox event. I feel like I usually try to complete the game. But for the Hatch event, some of the stuff was just so boring that it was like I just completely quit. And the fact that I did that just proves how extremely boring the event is. Like, just find the egg, collect the egg, and then you leave. And this is the problem with this event. But at the same time, though, I'm also kind of, it's also kind of a good thing that maybe Roblox will realize. It's a good thing, but also a bad thing. Now, the main problem that I'm talking about is the duration. See, the duration, it being too short, is a bad thing. However, the good thing is that hopefully in the future, Roblox will realize that they need a little median between what's a good duration and what's a bad duration. Like, the duration to me, like, despite some of the games being pretty short, some of them had a pretty solid length. Like, I did the 400 stage obby, Was the obby redundant? Was it repetitive? Yes. But was it the worst game in the event? By any means, no. And the fact that it was like 20 something minutes, I feel like that was kind of the sweet spot. Like, I would say anywhere between 10 to 30 minutes for an event game is good. I feel like somewhere between there. Maybe even 5. You know what? Let's just say 5 to 30. I feel like a duration that's in there is good. Because if it's like 5 seconds, like Funky Friday was, it's like, oh, look, there's the egg. I grabbed it. Hooray. You know, there's just like nothing to really like look forward to in that game. And, you know, of course, it's not the developers' fault. Roblox, you know, miscommunicated with the developers on what to even do for this event. Like, you know, they just were too late to communicate with the developers and they couldn't really come up with much of anything. But, you know, I just feel like that Roblox making the duration of each game shorter was somewhat of a good thing. Because then it's like each game didn't necessarily drag out. So that was good. You know, that was good. Like, I wouldn't want like one long dragged out thing that's like an hour and a half. You know, I mean, sure, for maybe Pig 64 that's different. But for like an egg hunt, me spending an hour to find the egg, heck no. You know, so especially when there's like 1,000 games. But that's the other disappointing thing is the amount of games. You know, they have way too many games in the event. Like limit it down to like 100. Like, you know, I mean that's the amount we need anyways, right? Like just have 100 games so people complete the 100. You know, quality over quantity. But of course, have it lower than that. Have it to like 50 or 25 if you want to have multiple games. You know, maybe even 20. And the fact that Roblox just decided to add 1,000 games in the event, sure, you want to make it the biggest event of all time, but like, it's definitely not the biggest in player count because you decided to add way too many games in the event. And sure, 1,000 is fine for variety, you know, but like, it's just too much to have in one event and in 10 days. And it's overwhelming, especially to younger players. You know, like, it's kind of overwhelming, like, because some younger players might think, oh, hey, I need to complete all 1,000 of these games or complete 100 games, even. That's also overwhelming. So that's the main problem with having too many games, is the fact that it's too overwhelming for a younger audience and even for older audiences sometimes. Like 100 is just way too much. Like just have people complete like 10 or 20 or 30 if you want to. Like I feel like 50, even 50 would be fine with me. Anything that's 50 or less. Anything over 50 I think is expanding the bounds a little too much. But like even 50 I would have been fine with for this event. But like, you know, that's also taking into account the fact that, you know, collecting the eggs takes such a short amount of time, you know, for the most part. And it's just, you know, it's just like if Roblox just listened to the community here, or if they just decided to take community feedback, like if they used the community feedback, I'm sure this event would be way, way better than it is. But no. Instead, it's not. They decided not to listen to community feedback, and it's just disappointing. Um, but I mean, my overall experience with the event, honestly, I don't think it's a terrible event. Like, I think the event is okay. I would say it's kind of meh though, because it just gets super boring super quickly. Because for the most part, like most of the games I joined, it was just find and collect the egg. There wasn't necessarily any like developer creativity involved. There wasn't any unique creativity aspects involved in most of the games. Now, some of them, like Pet Story was actually pretty good. You know, I liked how they had a little obby. That was nice. But, you know, like that's what I would want in each game. It's just like a unique thing for the event that the developers do. Even if it's a small obby like that wasn't bad. But, you know, the fact that most games didn't even do that because they didn't have the time, it's just unfortunate. And like I said, I don't think the event is like necessarily a terrible event. You know, like it's an event. I mean, it's better than nothing, but like it's definitely mid to me. I saw this one poll on Twitter. Um I said it was a mid event. You know, I really think it's a mid event. Like I would say it's also below average though. Like I would say it's kind of on the meh side. You know, but I would put this event in D tier. You know, if I were to rank it so far, but there's still plenty of other games I haven't played yet, so maybe the event will, you know, maybe it'll get better for me. But like I would say currently it's mid. You know, it's a mid event. You know, like collecting some of the eggs, it's just too short. Um, you know, like some of the games do good though. You know, some of the games like Pet Story have saved the event, but like, you know, like they've saved the event from probably being a trash event. But then there's other games that it's just like it just tanks the event so bad. And actually, one good thing though about the event has been the hub. The hub looks excellent. You know, the hub is a 10 out of 10. Like visually, it's a 10 out of 10. Yes, the mechanics do suck. Having to go back and again and again and again and again, that's a butt pain. But the hub itself, it's visually amazing. Like I think it's a 10 out of 10 hub. It's better than any other hub I've seen. It's the biggest hub. But like I really think it's the best hub I've seen out of any event. And I'm hoping that in the future Roblox continues, or Twin Atlas, the developers, shout out to them for making such an amazing hub. Like they just need to continue making hubs like this cuz man, this hub is awesome. You know, it visually looks awesome. Definitely the best hub I've seen. And yeah. So, that's one way to end this video on a high note, but yeah. Overall, the event's just mid so far. Has some good parts, but it's definitely not the best. It just gets boring and stale quickly. That's the problem because there's like nothing to really there's nothing that really gives each game value for the most part other than the games that like actually put their own unique stuff in it. Um so yeah. But thank you all for watching. If you haven't yet, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, turn on your notifications. I'm still gonna finish out this event. I think I'm at like 16 eggs right now. I did grind a little bit last night, but I didn't make too much progress. You know, part of it was just because I kind of just quit the games after not finding the eggs, but also, like, I don't know. But I'll still stick the event out. You know, I might as well just get the prize. I mean, the prizes look cool. The items look cool. I suppose that's another thing. The items look cool. But, you know, they definitely aren't the best items. But, I mean, they, you know, like the final prize, it looks cool. I want it. So, yeah. But thank you all for watching. I'll see you all next time. I hope you all enjoyed my TED Talk. Peace out. Whew.